Hey everyone, this is Judi with JLBCrafts. Welcome back to my channel, and if you're new here, thank you so much for giving me a try. In this video, I'm going to be setting up and hand lettering the week of August 8th through the 14th. This is capital letter G week, and much like the F, there's a lot of different ways to do the capital G, the majuscule G. So we've got some decisions and some trial and error today. Well, I don't, because I did this once already. I did this last year, but you definitely do. So our letters for this week, there are no months that start with G, so basically all the words are the same as last year. Gawk, Gi, Glob, Guff, Gimp, and Goji. I know those are weird. They're not like seasonal or anything, but there is a method to my madness. If you've joined me for a while now, you know I like to put an ascender next to the new capital letter at least once, if not a couple times. I've got some F's in there. I try to cycle through a lot of the words, a lot of the letters, the lowercase letters. I try to hit every single lowercase letter at least once in the month so that you don't get too rusty on them. So that's why there are some weird ones. I try to do only ascenders on the left hand side of the spread and only save any descenders for the right hand side so that we minimize as much as possible the entanglements between the row above and the row below. So anyway, for this one, I'm going with G is for, you guessed it, my favorite color, green. I went through all the Canva plan. I have all 3 volumes of the Roji Biv books from Canva plan, and I've used all 3 of the greens. I still have stickers left, but I want to use stickers I've never used before. So I got into the Functionally Chic. This was the rainbow boxed set of florals from Live Love Posh. I got the green book out, and there are some that I have not used yet. I haven't used these, and I do love those. I just used the Monsteras in my monthly view, in my catch-all for August. I have not used these yet, and these actually, the majority of them are green, but they do have some pink highlights, and green and pink is my favorite color combo. So I thought, you know, rather than 4 green pens, let's put a little pop of something else in there. So we're going to use these. And then I pulled this Simply Gilded washi tape. This is supposed to look like watermelon. And it doesn't match exactly, but I've never used it before, so I feel like it matches close enough. Plus, oh my gosh, it's just been so hot this summer. I feel like watermelon is entirely appropriate. So let's get started. I'm going to speed this up while I go ahead and decorate. I'm going to put my washi along the edges like I always do, not pulling it super tight. I do have a coupon, a link in my description box of all my videos pretty much for if you sign up for her no spam newsletter, and I always say this, but it truly is no spam. You will get a coupon code for $5 off a purchase of $15 or more, and I will get that same coupon code. So it's enough to cover shipping on most orders that aren't ginormous. So then I'm going to put florals across the top and up through the center, trying to minimize any amount of florals that go into my writing space, because it's going to look pretty with the pens, but I don't want to lose too much writing space because I've got stickers going into my way. So enjoy the music or fast forward, whatever works for you, and I'll be back. Excellent. Okay, so there are also things I can use as my little bullet points in this book, so I'm just going to go ahead and find those and go ahead and use them. Here we go. Let's use, and you can see where I've used a few of them anyway already. These are teeny tiny, so I'm just going to rotate through these. So then let's write in our assignments. Just grabbing a black pen, generic black pen. Okay, on the 8th, we have capital G, of course. And then we have gawk. I'm sure when you were a little kid, you were told to stop gawking at some point. Ghee, which is clarified butter. Glob. Guff. Did your grandma or grandpa ever tell you to stop giving them guff? Gimp and goji, which is a kind of berry, goji berries. All right, so I'm gonna pick my pens, probably 3-ish greens and a peachy pink as my fourth, and I'll be back. All right, so here are the pens I've chosen from. Again, I am heavy-handed. I know I say this a lot, but I never know when somebody new is going to be watching. So I'm heavy-handed, so I go firmest to softest, both when I warm up and as I do my practice, just because it's more natural for me to control the firm pens. So I want to warm up with the more easy to use pens to me. If you're light-handed, I recommend you warm up in the opposite, from softest to warmest. So sorry, softest to firmest. So the firmest pen I have is the Zebra Fudenosuke in the green color that is available. So Zebra is the company and Fudenosuke is the product line. Then I have the Vice brand. I don't know if, I'm not as familiar with Vice brand, so I don't know if they have, I'm sure they have other product lines, so I don't know if this would be the ultra color or what, but I have the lighter of the two greens on that one. Archer and Olive makes a lot of different pens. This product line is the Calligraph. So the cool thing about these are the only pens I've ever found that both ends are brush tips. Both ends will work for your brush lettering. They're flexible brush tips. One of them is very, very large, like a Tombow dual pen, a twin tip. The other one is very small, fine, which is what we're using now. So that's, and this color is called Jade. It's a little bit more of a bluish green to match up with some of this part of the florals. And then I have the peachy pink dual brush sign pen from Pentel. So Pentel is the company, and the brush sign pen, did I say dual? The brush sign pen is the product line, and that's the softest pen I'm going to be using today. So let's get started. I am still warming up with Face because I'm just loving the effect it's had on my lowercase f. So starting out with my firm pen, the Zebra. Next I have the Vice brand. The Jade Calligraph. We're just going to use the small end. And finally, the Pentel, the brush sign pen. Excellent. Oh, I love those colors. So pretty. All right, so let's do a deep dive into the capital G. So there are two distinct versions. One of them, those of us that were old enough to learn cursive handwriting, handwriting in school, learned a different version of this. This is basically just a bigger lowercase g. So they're starting about midline, they're coming up and around and down and up. So basically a big oval. It's about 2/3, 3/4 of the full double half of the line. And then coming down and doing a simple bottom section. So again, just kind of a slightly more stylized. They're doing a skinnier, they're keeping their bottom portion, I'm having trouble with my words today, smaller than their big top portion, whereas this one is kind of the opposite. The top portion, the above the baseline portion, is actually smaller than the below the baseline portion, that loop down below. So just something I noticed. All right, so let's look at our other sheets. So here's the Tombow free download for Fudenosuke calligraphy pens. So this is specifically for the style of pen that I typically use in my hand lettering. And this is much more along the lines of what we learned, you know, in elementary school, those of us that are old enough. So it looks a little bit to me, I was in band in school. It looks to me kind of a little bit like the treble clef sign that you see on musical pages. So I don't care for this one, but if you do, hey, go for it. The next one is from the let's see, this is the Rainbow Crayolalligraphy Rainbow book, and it actually shows both options. So this one's kind of like the big minuscule, oh my gosh, my words today. This one's what we saw initially with the first one we looked at from the Lovely Letters. It's just a bigger lowercase g. This one's got a little more of a curl, so here you can see the dot. They're showing you where to start. So about halfway between midline and top line. And come around, and here you can definitely see a heavy down. Here you didn't see a heavy down in the oval stroke. But if you're following our what we've been practicing for more than a half of a year, that should be fatter. That should be a heavy down all the way up to midline, and then they're coming down and making their loop. So again, they've got their oval is bigger and their below baseline portion is smaller. And then here they do the more traditional one. They're starting at baseline, they're coming up, and you can see again the fatter heavy down. And then you can lift your pen and make it 2 separate strokes, or just continue right into this one, but they're coming around, and somehow they're achieving a little bit of a fat tip there. This looks great. It definitely looks like a G to me. It's just not my preference. I look at this and I think, oh my gosh, there's a lot of landmines here. There are a lot of opportunities to have consistency issues with this, but if you love it, go for it and you'll figure it out. You know, you'll get consistent eventually. So, and then the last one I have, no, not the last one. This is from the Crayola boxed set that I happened to find at Walmart. And so here there is actually, I didn't even think about this, they have almost a third version, which is kind of like a printed G, where they're starting about the same spot, coming up and around, big oval, but then instead of doing this bottom portion here, they're doing what looks almost to me kind of like a lowercase r tacked on. So similar to the way I printed my capital G's here, right? That's what they're going for there. So that is actually a third option right there that I didn't even think about. But they've got, you know, some loops and some curls to fancy it up, and they've got the downward parts are fat and heavy, and the curly parts and the upward parts of the strokes are thin and delicate. So and then last but not least, I have the Calligraphy Made Easy book. This is linked. If you want to buy it off of Amazon, you can check Walmart. That's where I found mine. So here is the first one, and this is actually what I practiced last year. I love this G. So for those of you that have been following along, you may recognize the fact that most of my capital letters start left. They have some sort of tail. So like the B, the C, the D, most of mine, my F, my E, actually almost all of my letters so far have something to the left. So this is the G that I went with. It's basically just a stylized lowercase g made bigger. So I do this loop where I start over here, I come around and almost make kind of like a C, and you'll see right there, there's the capital C, there's the first part of the capital G. They're very, very similar, if not exactly the same. But then I continue down and do my bottom portion. So this is what I'm going to go with. And then finally in this same book there are alternate options. And here they're showing that one that looks like, again, like something off of sheet music. Very, very stylized. So they've got a huge loop up here, just really, really huge, coming around. And so this is very loopy. It's very dainty. They're showing your heavy down here, your heavy down here. But again, to me, this just looks like a landmine for me. So, all right, let's give this a shot. Let's get started. Okay, so starting over to the side, and this also gives me an opportunity writing mine this way to get an easy to repeat slant to my capital G. So starting over here, light up, heavy down, big loop, up to midline, and I can play with how big this is versus how big this is. Heavy down, and there's my connector and finish, my tail. So that is very open to me. It looks like a C gone wrong with something tacked on. So I want this part to be bigger and this part to be smaller. It's been a long time since I've written a capital G, so I got to get back to it. All right, so let's make this top part bigger, and then the belly a little bit smaller. So there, I've closed that gap significantly. There we go. Now that looks a little bit out of proportion to me. I think I want to make this smaller still. There's a little bit better. There we go. So I like this to be a little thinner, I think, and my gap to be just a bit more closed. So I'm going to continue on with this. That one's a little too thin. So as you can see, very, very crowded. I wasn't thinking about it. Maybe spread yours out just a little bit further so you give yourself better spacing for the row below. It's hard to even see those as G's because it's so crowded, there's so much going on, but I definitely could feel I hit my stride and got to where I was last year. So, all right, so I'm gonna aim for getting my G up in here and then my K up in here, but we'll see how it goes. So let's try putting it on a word. Let's try gawk. So basically you're just doing an oval inside of a bigger oval. Once you get to that, if you're doing this style of G, it should smooth out for you. Very much looks like the word gawk to me. I like it. I like the way the W and the K connect. It looks so seamless right there. I definitely prefer that gap to be mostly closed. It looks much more like a G to me with that gap mostly closed as opposed to this, which was way, way too open. It's hard to see that as a G, whereas this clearly says G to me. Again though, that might be the dyslexia. I am liking the G almost as much as the F. Alright, so let's try putting in a sender right next to the G. Should not be a problem because it's not, there's nothing really over there. So let's give this a shot. Very nice. Definitely says ghee to me, if you know what ghee is, if you're familiar with the word. If you've never heard the word before, it may seem a little odd to you, but I have to say, warming up today made such a huge difference. When I was about here, I thought, you know, this is not clicking. I just, maybe I should stop and start over tomorrow or something. And I just kind of hit my stride, and now I'm just having a good lettering day. So warming up, I cannot overstate enough how big of a difference it makes to warm up. So glob, the L, is not going to be very much different than the E or the H that we just did. So if you had good luck with that, you should be fine with glob. Glob. Add an E on the end, you have globe. Halfway there. I love that color set. It's so pretty. Okay, let's try guff. Yes, Fs. Hopefully you all are getting better and more comfortable with your Fs. I am, and I think this G, I love the G so much, it's gonna make me like the Fs more. At least that's the hope. All right. That was kind of disjointed, and my two Fs are not anywhere near the same, so definitely some work to do, but surprisingly not on the G. So our loop on the G and our loop, bottom loop on the two Fs, they go in opposite directions. But we still want to try to have them at the same angle, go down to the same level, have the same width, the same fatness. Now here, oh my goodness, I'm just gonna have a lot of entanglement here. So much entanglement there. All right, let's try. Did you ever notice too that F is an ascender and a descender at the same time? It's the only letter that's like that. All right, let's try GIMP. I love it. Having a good lettering day today after all, except for all the entanglements. So again, same thing, the lower part of the G and the lower part of the P, these actually do go in similar directions, so we should be able to get them to look pretty similar to each other. Changed it up a little at the end so I can fit it in there. Uh-oh. Is it lunchtime? Mommy knows darn well it's lunchtime, doesn't she? Don't rub your face on my pen. You can let me finish. I'm so close to being done today. I sprained my ankle a lot in high school and college, and GIMP or Gimpy is what my family, my sisters, my mom would pick on me, call me Gimpy. Just occurred to me while I was writing that you guys may not know what that word was. So anyway, last but not least, Goji. So we're gonna put, so I like to try to put a capital and a lowercase together in the word if I can, just so that you can have both versions, especially in a case like this where they're so similar to each other. You get to see what they look like in the same word. So going, goji, something that's got a capital G and a lowercase g. So let's give this a try. So of course, obviously wanting our two lower portions of our G to be as similar as possible. Didn't drop down quite as low on this one, but the angle and the size are pretty spot on. So I think I'll come over here. Not bad. Maxed out my recording, but I caught it right away this time. Jazzy's such a distraction. I'm just gonna finish. I'm almost done, okay? Quit smacking me in the face with that tail. I can't write when you're headbutting my forehead. Move your foot. Come on, go look out the window just for a few more minutes, okay? I don't know what that is, guys. I don't know what that is. That is Jazzy distracting me. That's what that is. Yay, we made it. All right. So I have a request for you all. I have figured out what I is going to be in a couple weeks, but I don't know what H is going to be. So I take your suggestions. I need your suggestions for, so G was for green, F was for floral. I need to know what H is for. I haven't figured it out yet. So, all right. So there is this year's G. Let's compare it to last year's G. There we go. So you can see I've gotten, I think, maybe a tiny bit bigger, maybe not. Definitely worked on closing up this gap. I like the gap a little bit more closed. So good luck with your G. I hope you like it. I hope you had good luck with your F. I wish you good luck with your G. Like I said, I forgot how much I liked G. It's such a simple letter the way I do it. And I think it turns out kind of stunning. So let me know what I should do for H next week. I hope you like this video. If you do, please consider liking and subscribing. Thank you.